Welcome to the Connected Show, another episode. I'm Ruben Torres, my boy here, Memo.
What up, what up?
What up? And we got a special friend of ours that came in today. Happens to be shooting a movie here, and had to get it in before he heads back up to LA. Special friend of ours, and hope he keeps coming back. Hope we do some stuff up in LA when we're up there as well. Johnny Ortiz, thanks for coming, man.
My pleasure, my honor.
When the East get wicked, make the car on the guy. I'm connected, 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 connected. I'm connected.
Thank you. Like I know we've been going back and forth on when we gonna do this. When we got, you're like, I'm gonna be down there next month, and then just so happened, and so. We were saying earlier, man, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If we could do it, I guess it was meant to be. You're here. So appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming down. South San Diego.
We're right here.
Man. So you're out here filming a movie in Calexico?
Yeah, man. It's a feature film that I'm filming. It's pretty interesting. I've shot a couple of films that have to do with based on immigration,
Soy Nero.
Soy Nero, which talked about deported veterans. But this one's pretty interesting. It's different, It's kind of like a relationship within, Border Patrol and, a person crossing the border and how he's, caught in this moment where he has to decide whether his freedom, which he has it at the moment, or he has to go back and help this person out as a human, And it's pretty interesting, it's amazing to see something, something that the audience will always judge wrong, and then at the end you can't judge none of them. Like at the end, they're both human. They're both have a human spirit, and I think that's what what the director was trying to show on this. Like that people can make choices and be human. Sometimes they don't have to be by the book.
Yeah. Who's the director on the show?
His name is Connor. Pretty cool director.
You worked with him before?
And first time.
Yeah.
I grew up in Venice, so it's interesting to see. The whole aspects of, and he wanted to shoot it in San Diego, so we're like, let's go to San Diego.
So, who's putting this one out? Is it independent?
So this one's with Netflix, so it's something Netflix is doing. It was literally like, because we've been shooting back and forth because I've been having other schedules of other filmings. So I shot this probably like a month ago. We shot like probably 2 weeks of filming here, and then we just came back 2 days ago, and we started filming like 3-4 more days.
Sick.
Done with it.
Dude, anytime you're in Dago, you got to reach out, man.
I know, bro. Go out and eat out here somewhere.
I actually went to Coronado.
Okay.
It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I went there for my honeymoon with my wife. It's
Oh, nice, bro.
Yeah,
that's a nice area.
Yeah.
That's a fancy pants area.
Yeah. You definitely didn't go to like.
You didn't eat no bomb tacos while in Coronado.
No, I didn't. I was actually trying to look for something authentic. I don't know what something is.
You were on the wrong side of the bridge, bro. You have to come across.
Because as soon as you get on the other side of the bridge, everything's dope.
Because Carlos said when he was driving me that I was over there in the boonies, or I was filming. I think where was I in El Centro?
Oh yeah,
that's
in Pro Valley. Yeah,
that's different. So
I wouldn't consider that same.
Yeah. So when you're saying the border, like to me, like
we think
the
here.
border's right here, like 5 minutes from us.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And we got the Otay border and San Ysidro border. So when you told me the border, I'm like, oh, dude, he's right here. Like, we're right.
Yeah, that's what you said earlier.
Yeah, but then you're like, oh,
Mexico.
I'm like, oh, they got him over at the Viejas. I'm like, dude, way out there? Like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're shooting at the border, why would they put you way out there? But it makes sense if you're out in Calexico.
Yeah. We shot right in the border. It was beautiful shot.
Right, Mexicali,
So you're used to shooting out in the sun.
I'm used to it. It's something that, I think in the film industry, you just got to adapt and be nice and be, I think that's why people work a lot, because I feel how you carry yourself on set. Why be mad? Why be...
But like when you did McFarland, that was a whole other, like you're running in the sun.
They put me through a 1-month training process. So Adidas sponsored us because Adidas was involved in it. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. Like we went through a whole month of training.
What that entail?
Huh?
What did that entail, that training?
Oh man, learning about what cross country really is. It's shin splits, getting cold ice baths, all this. But it was just to prep us for the film, because we're running up mountains, riffing the observatory, different places. So it was a lot of running. I think they even did an audition for running. So they had an Olympic runner, the person that had won it that year for cross country, and he actually, after the audition of who they wanted, we had to do an audition of running around. It was kind of ridiculous, but we had to run around, and he was like saying if we had it like it wasn't just acting. It was like, can
Crazy.
he run?
Yeah.
Can he handle?
Can he-
How much pressure was that on you as an actor?
Well, you know, you're just like, hopefully my whole time was like getting him to be my best friend, you know, like he was like, it's going to be dope, you know, and you know, he ended up I was in the list. So
Because it has to be like an authentic run or something, you know. You have to look like you were actually.
I guess they just wanted to make sure you can handle it, you know, and then even through the process of training, the first week, you really had to show that progression. Like we couldn't eat.
Oh, wow.
We had to eat healthy. And I remember Danny Diaz, one of the characters that plays there, he was the only one that was allowed to eat whatever. So he'll go right to the cookie line. And
Yeah, because he was the big kid. Yeah.
He'll eat cookies and everything. He'll look at us, I can eat whatever I want.
And he still ran good. He still ran good in that whole thing. Yeah. Were you a runner before that?
No, you know, just running in life, general life, from
Cops.
from my life. You know.
From my life.
Did you still have the hookup with Adidas?
So Adidas just sponsored us for that first month, and then because it was based in the 90s, right? So I think the 80s or 90s. So also New Balances then later on got involved, and then they custom made Adidas New Balances shoes that were back in the day,
Yes.
and we kept it. So that just happened through the film.
You guys have some dope tracksuits. Did you keep any?
Yeah, I have the whole outfit.
Sick. What size?
You know what? Actually,
I'm
I
a
had
fan,
two of them.
I'm a
I
fan.
had
Hey,
two of them.
Ruben wears suits and track suits, bro. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Hook it up. Set it up.
yeah.
But tell us about your journey, man. When you started, because you started young, at least with the heart and the passion to want to be in this.
So most of my family, you know, grew up in gangs and stuff like that. So myself, I just, that was my vibe. That was what I was meant to be. I thought I was going to be the hardest core gang member that exists, you know. And growing up, you have that mentality of just like when earn your stripes and stuff like that, you know. And I guess my dad always and my mom always try to find ways to take me out, but I was just a rebel and naive at the time, you know. So I remember at 10 years old, I got into the neighborhood. It was in Highland Park. And then from there, I kept getting kicked out of schools. You know, I went to juvenile hall, I get kicked out of schools. And I remember going to school and this teacher came, substitute teacher came, and he's like, you know, what do you want to do in life? You know, and like I always used to come with the empty backpack and no homework. I would just go to school just so my parents won't go to jail. You know, it was that. And then he just out of nowhere told me, you know what, I'm gonna bring in an acting teacher. We do it, you know, take it, you know, for career day. I'm like, you know, I'll do it. So I remember it was 3 options, and out of these 3 options, you were only gonna get 2, and from the 3, it might have not even happened, the acting, but it did happen. I chose acting for first, I chose real estate second, and I chose lawyer third, and I ended up getting to be in the acting class and the lawyer class. So it's pretty cool. So when I took the classes, I took it professionally. Not professionally. I did the class, and after 2 years of being with, like not 2 years, but after like a year, he gave me some, you know, he passed out some flyers, and he's like, come to these nonprofit. They give free acting classes in Boyle Heights called Casa 0101, which is founded by Josefina Lopez that wrote Where Women Have Curves. And she, you know, did a lot for the community. They built this nonprofit, which is ran by the artistic director and dear friend of mine, Emmanuel de Leage. And they built this theater where they give people opportunities. And I started taking the classes after 2 years of taking it. You know, I told him I want to take this serious, like help me get an agent. And I got an agent. I think I was 13, 14 at the time. You know, 4 years of just going hard. You know, you don't look at it like that because, you know, you look at all these kids and you're like, I remember when I was that age, like I was nothing like that, you know, because people grow up in a different culture, different vibe, you know, and that's when I took the classes. I went to my first audition, which helped me get an agent. It was in 2011. I went to this cop show called Southland. It was TNT. And I remember doing it, and it was exciting, but I played a gang member, like straight gang member. And imagine coming from a gang world and then doing a gang role. It was kind of like
you're playing yourself.
it was like pumping me up in some way. It was kind of like doing me a little damage in the moment because
Your ego.
my ego, and you're just starting in the industry, so you don't know what's gonna happen, what's gonna come. I didn't know none of this that that came in my life was gonna exist. And then that's when that same year I did a short film called Nanny, and it won the Studio Academy Award, so it won the Oscar.
Right.
And I was a lead on it. So it was a cool start. I went to the Academy, and I got a lot of cards. And I remember that time my agent was mad, and not mad. She left the business due to her husband having a stroke. So she took over the real estate. So she's like, I'm not gonna be in the industry no more. So I was left with like these 2 credits. And I did a movie called Strike One with Danny Trejo, which was a little movie, but at the time it didn't come, it was not out, So when I did it, then I was left with no agent, and I got all these cards that I got from the Academy, and I called this lady, and her name is Patch McKenzie, and now she's my manager. But I remember going on to her and tell her, hey, you give me your card. It's like, well, honey, she was a Jewish lady. She's like, well, honey, if I gave you my card, it must be for a reason. And I was like, okay. So I went to her house in Beverly Hills, pretty nice house. I went and bought a suit, felt weird because I was always baggy. Like,
Oh, is that right?
like it was bald headed, 501s, the white tee.
Even as an actor at that moment?
The beginnings of my my life, I was really like that. So as I got the suit,
Yeah, you're all cleaned up right there.
Look,
Let's see. Yeah, look at you. Where's that at?
that's the Emmys. That's in 2015.
Wow,
So right after I went to Juvenile Hall, because I
Right after that?
no, so it was before that.
Okay.
It's before that, not after that. Before that, I went to Juvenile Hall. I think at that time I was 17 or 18 when I went to the Emmys. It was a show that I did in 2015. It was called American Crime. Got 10 Emmy nominations.
Dude, I loved that show.
Yeah,
So it was supposed to be like you were in Modesto, right?
Yeah.
Did you really shoot in Modesto?
no, we shot in Austin, Texas. Yeah,
Dude, well,
Hollywood, man.
because the way that it was shot like so close up, so you couldn't really tell. So they shot like B-roll of Modesto.
Yeah.
So at the time, because my wife's family's from Modesto, and at the time in 2014 and some of 2015, I went up to Modesto and I was living in Modesto, and so I was like, dude, check out this show that is supposed to be taking place, American Crime, supposed to be taking place in Modesto. And that's the first time I had like seen you and Richard Cabral in the same. And dude, I was like, the writing in this film was just genius. I mean, in the show was just genius. Like it was just so well put together. And then it won a bunch of awards, right?
Oh, well, it won a couple people got nominated for the Emmys, but it ended up winning the best ensemble cast Emmy for the whole cast. So that was something we took. Of course, Regina King took a Emmy. I think on the second season, Richard Cabral got nominated as well. Seeing the first homie, come out and get nominated as an Emmy, that was cool.
His story like was dope. Like hearing it after, like because he came out of Homeboy Industries too.
Oh, right on.
And so like just watching, like they did a couple little like short clips on his background and who he was and coming out of that lifestyle and now being an award-winning actor.
We actually got our first series regular show together, like at the same show, American Crime. And I remember we went to EDC before to Vegas, and we were like partying, and he was with his whole friends and people he grew up. And I remember I only had like $20, $30 in my pocket, and I still went with them, and I remember he's like, hey, you want to get some food? I'm like, I only got a little bit of money. He's like, dude, we just booked the show that they're gonna pay us $25,000 a week. Every week we got like 15 episodes to film. Like, don't trip, I got you. Pay me back when you. And I remember he gave me money, and I paid for my stuff, and that was the first moments that I met Richard.
Showed you love.
Yeah, and then throughout life, he ended up getting the Mayans and seeing all these work, and it's just cool to see.
You were in that one too, right?
I was never on the Mayans MC because at the time, I remember Emilio, he messaged me. He's like, "Hey man, I want you to be in the Mayans because he had pool." But at the time, I guess I was more about like, I didn't want to do roles that were very like stereotypical or stuff like that. Nothing against the show. The show is nice. I love Mayans MC. It just, I was building my career as in like doing roles that were not really like gang related, more like.
Why is that? Why is that?
I guess I didn't want to, I always seen in the industry, they're always putting us as gangsters, as cholos, the maid, pregnant woman, as a Latina, and I'm like, why can't we be the doctor? Why can't we be the lawyer? Why
Love
can't we
that,
be,
bro.
like, there's people, especially someone coming from a neighborhood, that they always want to put in that stereotype. So I said, I'm not gonna do that to my career. So I denied a lot of roles. I did a lot of roles, but then you see in life, like that there's always going to be somebody that's going to take it. So I said to myself, you know what? If I can take these roles and start bringing the human side in it, I'm gonna start doing it. And also it was advice from Danny Trejo. He was like, just take everywhere you can and make it yourself. So that's when, as I started picking and choosing my work, I decided to do. I think I did Peppermint with Jennifer Garner, where I go chase her through the whole film and
that was dope.
trying to kill her through the whole film. So that was an interesting part. I played like gang related, and it was, from all the work that I've done, was different, And then as I continued in life, I did different roles. I ended up doing this film, Unforgiven, and it's something great. It's about Pastor David. Grew up in Harpies with all his brothers, and how it talks about the back in the days, how it was, and how he changed his life to Christ, and I'm playing the brother that did 26 years in prison.
What gang was he from?
Harpies?
Yeah. That's
Conejo. Where Conejo?
Yeah. Conejo's from, and Shia LaBeouf was.
Yeah, I
from.
heard. That's what I heard. That's what I've been hearing. I'm not confirming rumors, but
No. He throws up. He
confirm
throws
or
up.
deny.
He does the
I
age.
seen
He does
it.
all that.
I seen
So, like if you do a little bit of research on him, like, dude, it's great because he kind of, in a sense, like went backwards, because he was doing what Nickelodeon or whatever, and he did like what that Holes movie. So like he was all wholesome for a bit, and he Transformers and all this stuff, right? But then he got the opportunity to do the Tax Collector.
yeah.
And so he wanted to make it as legit as he could. So dude went and got tatted up.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
He got like real some of the actors, they do the fake tattoos, but dude went and got real tattoos from the dudes in his neighborhood where he grew up. He's like, nah, if I'm going to get tatted, I'm going back to my neighborhood where I was from, and I'm going back to those gang members, and I'm going to roll with them, and kind of to, get himself in the role. And now he's all tatted up. I think he even got the H.
I see pictures.
I think it's like the Mickey Mouse hand.
But I feel until I see him person, I'm like,
Right
Oh,
there.
there it is.
So those
Cool.
are all
Look.
real?
yeah. I mean, that's what I.
Dude, you went next level on that, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like he got into his role. So
That's interesting,
next
man.
level stuff.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to get out of that. I'm
yeah.
already out of that. So.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he ended up going backwards, on it. But it's interesting seeing like you go from doing like Disney stuff, with McFarland, and then just seeing the contrast with that in American Crime is just like it's a beautiful thing to see, because McFarland was such a feel good movie, but when you get to like inject yourself, who you are, into those characters, I think kind of makes it all worthwhile.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, and also acting for me is like therapy, It's like lets me, like, we all have ups and downs, but being in the public, you have to be like the best behavior you can, And I feel sometimes, we're down or this, like your team, your people get down, So you always try to be positive, but I think in life we have ups and downs, and I started being more vulnerable with people, showing them, it's not life is not always perfect,
Mm-hmm.
So like, because everybody, I guess at some point when people have some success, they feel like people don't get sad. They have everything. They shouldn't complain. They shouldn't do this. But I think, we're humans, and I think that's why a lot of people like to collaborate, or they're in my team. They have my corner, because I'm always vulnerable in those moments, and I really share like feelings, well, it's life.
We're all flawed,
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it too, is like being able to be vulnerable. In Hollywood doesn't really like let you be too vulnerable at times. But
is that not a common trait amongst actors, being vulnerable?
I mean, when you're doing the film, right, you certain scenes you're being vulnerable, but if you're talking about the sense of like
in public, like the public
you know,
persona,
like how you have to be, how you know, like it's anything can, you know, you can't get mad, you can't, because everything people try to use it against you. And I've always been a strong believer, you know, that if now, you know, because I gave my life to God, like I'm reborn, you know, and I gave my life to Jesus. So like 4 days ago, recently.
Wait,
you know,
those is fresh?
yeah, fresh, man, up there. Because I always grew up in church. My mom always took me to church, but I distanced myself from it, you know, and
but you've always sprinkled it in there, and you've always mentioned it.
well, now it's been something that it's really like, you know, I love them. I mention them. Everywhere I go, it's like, thank you, God. It wasn't for him. It's like something that I promote, you know. And my mom always told me, like, you are always going to be a preacher. You know, you're always going to go and, you know, spread the word.
I love that.
And at first, I was always against it. You know, my mom died in cancer.
Man,
so
sorry to hear that.
the last words I heard from her, she was like, God loves you and sorry for everything I did wrong. But, you know, you're going to be something great and you're going to go around. And I've always heard that from people, you know, I always heard that from people. So that's when I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go over there and tell them that God is real. And if you believe in God, like, you're going to be very peaceful. You're going to be happy.
Amen.
And no matter what the situation is, you know.
Well, we speak on that. So usually I ask everybody, like, where you at with God? Obviously, 4 days ago, how did that come to take place? Or how did God come to?
I was telling Ruben that, you know, through life, I felt like, you know, because, you know, when I went to prison and when I went to juvenile hall, I remember when I went to juvenile hall, and I got on my knees the last 6 months of being in juvenile hall, and I said, God, if you give me another chance, I want to do better, you know. I want to serve the Lord. I asked the same thing that I think Solomon asked for. He's like, I didn't want money, he wanted wisdom, and they ended up giving him money, you know, all this power and all this stuff. Became a king, right? And for me, it's like I didn't want to be selfish. I'm like, so I was just like, just give me wisdom, guidance. All I want to do is this, and I have this passion. 6 months later, I come out, and I ended up landing my first Disney role, McFarland, USA. And then I land American Crime, and I keep landing, and I never look back. But I think I distanced myself from God. God gave me that opportunity, and I literally took it for granted, and was just like, oh, I'm gonna have fun, yeah, this and that. And you know, I went through all the temptations in life. You know, in Hollywood, you go through like drugs, free this, free that. You know, alcohol, all this, and then you get caught up on all that, and you don't really start giving, you know, putting attention to your work. So that's when, you know, as I continue with my life, I remember one person, I was telling him, my Uber driver, stopped me out of nowhere and told me, hey man, I just want to tell you, God wants me to tell me he loves you. So I was just like a little bit like weirded out, because I was like, why randomly you just telling me this? We're not getting in the car. So that was the first moment. That same day, I went to go eat with my mom, my sister, and my dad. And I remember we're eating at Denny's, and some lady just taps me in the shoulder, and she's like, hey man, I don't mean to stop you in your conversation, but I just want to say God loves you, and he told me to tell you that. And he wants to show me some verses. So there's this app, I think called JP something about the Bible, and she popped it out and started reading verses, and I was just like,
just randomly.
So I was just like, okay. But you know, I think my selfishness, my egoness of not wanting it for like almost a year and a half, and seeing that it was kind of like, I think the reason what I went through, you know, then having to fight a murder case in 2020, coming out over TMZ, everything. And, you know, really like, I remember when I went into a cell, and that cell was written with all the verses. It's in Spanish, que evita la averigua del autismo de moradas o las horas de puta te dije yo, Jehová, hijo mío, castillo mío. So it was written all over the wall. And that was the verse that I memorized as a kid, and my mom, and it was everywhere. So I'm like, God is here with me when I was in prison. You know, I'm facing life in prison. You're going through all these thoughts, you know, and my career is going to be back. Should I just end my life here, you know? seeing people die, people, all this, and it was experience I had to go through, and when I came out, when I came out on bail in 2021 on my birthday, April 21st, and I was just like, I'm out, I'm gonna do better, I'm gonna hang out with better people, it's like, and at the same time, the strike had just happened, so there was no work.
What he was working at.
So I was just like, damn, it's like 2 or 3 years out the game. My last thing was Breaking Bad. Am I even gonna get my career? What are people gonna think? What are people gonna say? And I just let, I let my at the moment, like it was like a battle whether God, please, but at the same time, it's like not really, sometimes like not thinking about him, And then it became to the point where as I started working, I remember doing a film called Lolita, and, it was something different, it was a character that, well, it was a gay character, and I never thought, like for me, it was like coming from a neighborhood that would be very embarrassing or really something to show something, coming from a hardcore lifestyle, and I remember calling one of my, friends that been in the neighborhood for a long time, which they call big homies, right? And I remember talking to him, and I'm like, hey man, there's this film that they wanted me to do. Like, man, congrats. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not gonna believe the role. And I told him, and then he's like, man, you're just an actor, man. You just go ahead and do you, man. No one can judge you. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. So I ended up doing the role, and it was something different from all the stuff I've done. And then right after that, I ended up doing another film called Unforgiven, and it was about a gang member that goes through his whole life and gives his life to God. And as I'm going through that process of going to church, because most of the base camp was in church, I feel like something was calling me. Something was calling.
God was stirring that up right there.
And I think when it hit me when my brother went through going through a mental health phase, where he got lost in drugs, and I think my mom's affected on me going to prison, affected on me, just having more of a long road. Yeah. So he ended up, and I think when that hit, that and other situations in life, I think it was like, damn, like all this positive stuff happening and all this negative. And I feel like at one point I was never going to be positive, And I think God at that point, it was like, here's this positive stuff you've been asking for. I feel I've made you go through what you needed to go through, but here's all this positive. You choose if you want to think negative or if you want to be positive. I'm giving you peace. This is what you want. This is what you wanted. Yeah. Just do what you need to do. And for me, it was just like, okay. So I remember I was just in base camp and I was putting my head down. Everybody was doing their thing. And I'm just like, let me pray real quick. My mom always said that prayers, God hears, So I I closed my eyes, started praying. The pastor comes to me. He's like, man, are you okay? I'm like, I think I just need God, And he's like, I'm gonna make sure, we do a prayer for you, So, he did the prayer for me, and it really like, I'm getting emotional because it's peace is what I wanted, in life, and like I finally have it. Like it's beautiful. I can't complain. Life is going so good. I got another gig that I'm doing on October. Even if all this is happening, I know God is here, and my brother's getting better. So amen to that.
What's your brother's name?
Jesse Ortiz.
Definitely keep him in prayer, bro.
He's getting better. And I think it what it was is like, because sometimes people are like, you should fix these situations, get closer. But I think God just wanted me just to lose a bunch of stuff and really think about my life.
Prioritize,
prioritize. And now, like, I'm happy, man. Like, I got done, For me, it's like coming to here is a blessing because I want to share my wisdom. I want to share my growth. I want to share what I've been through in life. Life is not easy, but if you walk with God, everything's perfect, and it's amazing.
It's all part of his sovereign plan, to draw us near. He says his sheep hear his voice, Like you said, so many times we got these distractions over our own plans and how we see our future. And it's funny how we treat God like a genie. Like, hey, God, help me out on this one. And then once He gets you out, you're like, good looking out. See you in a couple of years when I'm in the hole again. You know,
it's what do they call it? Like the police in the rearview mirror thing. All right, please don't pull me over. Please don't pull me over.
yeah.
Come on, God, I'll do whatever you want. Don't pull me over. And then he takes a turn. He's gone. You're back to speeding. Doing,
It's our human flesh, bro. We're so greedy and selfish and after our own ambition, you know, that.
And the way that God uses people around you, you know, just like that priest or just the people that are, you know, coming up and tapping you on the shoulder, like you never know, man.
Yeah, there's no gain for these guys. That's what I tell people, like, there's no gain. Like praying for somebody, that's like a selfless act right there, you know, that benefits that human over there. So the fact that God put this man of God in your life to pray for you, you know, I'm sure that was an eventful day.
It was amazing.
Who were your role models growing up?
As in like actors or
No, just period. Like your father, your brothers, your.
I think, you know what, prison made me really realize the people that were really in my life that were really 100% with me. I distanced myself from them. I would just keep them around when I needed emergencies. And the people that really didn't benefit me in my life were involved, like I was partying, going out. So I think when I was in prison, I realized who was there for me and who wasn't there for me. And, you know, seeing all this community people that were there for me, and I didn't have my selfishness didn't want to have a conversation because I was too in the wanting to party, not into this. So kept my professional side on that side and never shared, you know, the this world that I was living. So I feel when I was in there, I really owe it to them. I really, you know, needed a help and build with them. So when I came out, Emmanuel de Leaz, Edward Padilla, David Misselman, he was the director for the first film I did, Strike One. My dad, my mom. There's a lot of, people that I just run through my life, and I think anything that has words of wisdom or positivity is God speaking to me. You know,
I love that your mom. So your mom was a woman of God, bro.
Yeah,
that's amazing. You know, that's prayer right there. You're an answered prayer, bro.
You're a walking miracle.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing when you know your parents are praying for you. I know I pray for my kids. You know.
How long were you locked up for?
I ended up doing 11 months in county and 4 months in prison. I got sentenced to 3 years. Ended up doing half that time. I didn't want to take it to trial due to the fact that I was already I had another gig that I was going to do. Actually, I was going to do Criminal Minds.
Nice.
The season finale. But long story short, it took a little bit longer to get out because of COVID. So I ended up having to not being able to do that. So I came out and it was different. You know, I came out on my birthday actually after 11 months. And then as I went to court, I had to do 4 more months and I ended up being time served. Came out and it's different.
How'd you stay out of the politics in there?
Politics, I think in there they're involved. You know, you can't. I think all you have to do is really think positive and really like hope that, you know, at the time I wouldn't say that I wasn't really putting my eyes to God, but I would say God was always there with me. You know, because in there it's like a lottery as well. You know, you something happens, you just make sure there's order. And I think what helped me too was that I've always been a person that gives back. I've been at juvenile facilities. You know, I'm part of Unusual Suspects, part of Familia Unida that helps people with multiple sclerosis. I go dance with them. You know,
nice.
And
tell us about the Unusual Suspects.
Unusual Suspects. So it's a program that I did in Camp David Gonzalez that I was involved. They come into juvenile facilities and they do like a 12-week program where the first 2 weeks they start like, you know, teaching, opening up, doing little games, you know, because there's juvenile kids that really, you know, like they're not used to being nice or cool, especially coming from that world. You have to be like always the funny guy or something, you know. So I think this really helps people grounded, you know, and after like a week or 2 weeks of doing that, the second week they start writing deep things they've been through. And then on the 4th week, they start rehearsing it. And then on the 8th week, we present it, and we bring professional actors and we lift the script up to, you know, for them to see it. And it's beautiful, you know, because you see the family, you see everybody, you know. I was always nervous to go to those classes, but people will always be like, oh, like it's like a girl stuff, you shouldn't be doing that stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I was name calling it, and I was like, but I always went. And now to see these kids going in the same camp that I was in, it was interesting. It was cool to see them love it, because I don't have no shyness. I'm not shy to perform or anything like that. So when they see it, they're like, oh my God. And then seeing somebody that just came out of that same camp, they really relate to it. You see some kids come up to me, "Wow, you think I can do it when I come out?" I'm like, yeah. I always try to guide them to the right position and stuff like that. But now, they're everywhere now. They're like in different states and countries, and they even host meetings with different juvenile facilities, like Kilpatrick, and different, just talking about how juveniles should be fixed and all this stuff.
That's dope.
That's good that you do that, bro.
Yeah.
Giving back to your old self,
We always ask everybody that comes on, we're like, dude, how can we connect and do a give back for the community? Yeah. But would love to have you come back, man, and go with us down into the East Mesa Juvenile Hall down here.
Love that.
And that one's a little more heavy duty. There's another one that's kind of more, like where the kids are in for months. And this one's kind of more like prison style, but
like YA, you turn.
Yeah, but it's more like they separated the general pop. They got most of the kids in there for infant murder. Yeah. So, but they need people like you to come in and give hope.
Yeah, big time,
and share that. Hey, I know what it's like. I came out of the same background, and just kind of give that hope. And especially like, even if they just seen you in a clip of something to where they know, like, hey, that you did it and they can do it too. Mm-hmm. So. And
it's always interesting because, especially juvenile, because you go talk to college kids, you go talk to school kids, you go talk to juvenile kids. It's like juvenile kids are like really like I feel like they look at you and they're like, is he preaching some stuff like, has he been through that life? Because, I remember going through people coming and visiting us, and they always just say, she's a white lady. She don't know what she's been through or this and that. So I think seeing me really go into there and talk to them, like they really,
relate, the relatability.
And I feel like there's always, not everybody, but I think as long as I did my one person change I'm doing my job,
Yeah. If you could just reach that one kid, then you did it. You did what you were supposed to do. Yeah, that's dope, man. Well, hopefully we can get you back to San Diego to do that at some point, man.
It'll be dope.
How often do you make it down here?
I used to be here down a lot due to my friend that used to live here. But I mean, just tell me when. I mean, maybe we'll make it happen.
Boom, there it is.
So what does God mean to you in this moment, like today?
God means everything. Peace, love, faith, abundance, courage, strength. I mean, what else can...
I love that. What would you say to a youngster that's interested in getting into the film world, be an actor? What are their steps? What are some valuable shortcuts, or is there a shortcut?
I always tell, it's not how you started life, it's how you finish it. And if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you at all. So always go for it, have that ganas. You have to have that ganas, and you have to really step it up, really cut all the stuff that is negative, cut all that stuff that is bad for you, and really focus on you. And sometimes it's hard, it's hard, there's people, and sometimes I think if, a lot of people that I noticed that were in prison and jail, a lot of people had peace, and I was like, how you have peace? And it's because of God, and it's no matter what, you always we be good in peace if you have God in my life. I feel that there's been challenges, so I think that challenges are always going to exist. Obstacles are always going to exist. It's if you put your mind and the wanting to do it, it's really possible. I never thought I'd be acting for a living. I never thought, be traveling the world and experiencing different type of food, culture-wise. And I came from the gang road, so I think if I can do it, anyone can do it, and anything's possible. Sometimes people ask me also well, I've been acting for a cool minute, or how do I get involved, or how do I start? And I feel like, everybody is born with a gift, and I think sometimes, we want certain things, but we have that one gift that we have. And I think if you focus full potential on it, on that gift, it will provide more gifts, and that gift could be anything. If you're great at construction, if you're great at building stuff, if you're great at talking, if you're great at singing, whatever it is you're good at, that you have that gift that people know individually, take that to the wherever you want to take it and invest that gifts that you're given to and all the gifts that come with it, and then invest it to the stuff you want to do. Like you want to start producing, you want to start directing, you want to start, I've always said, and also like being disciplined, us Latinos, we're not taught really disciplined,
Preach.
we're really,
Speak on that.
we're really unorganized sometimes,
Unstructured.
So and then the whole egotistic, like, oh, well, he's Mexicano, he's Guatemalteco, or he's this. Like, I feel like we're always, trying to like put each other down, and
Crabs in a bucket.
and for me, it's like we gotta stop all that. We gotta unite and really like stop the negativity and start thinking positive. And
Do you experience a lot of that?
of
Like the crabs in the bucket mentality where
for me, it's like I've always been that middleman that always fixes stuff, and always, and I thank God for that, because I never had people really. Me, it's always some people with some other people, and I always been like, stop that. Like it's about how if y'all actually got on a table, got out together, like y'all can do some big moves.
Squash it.
just like the Chicano Hollywood,
Which is amazing.
that conference that we went to, like you've seen the unity and you've seen the love and the peace and just everybody getting together to work, offer like a common goal, But it was cool just seeing like how everybody was connected.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was such
Amazing.
a cool vibe.
Yeah, meeting you and a bunch of people up there was tight. Like everybody was very like open to talk and share, and I was like, damn, everybody's super
It
chill.
was such a cool vibe, man.
We had a good time.
They're doing it again soon, so
I mean, yeah, it was amazing bringing Latino, powerhouses inside and really like, getting it going. Like it's Chicano Hollywood. I mean, it's been doing a lot of great events, and not only that, but actually connecting a lot of great people with each other, and that's a blessing. Because
shout out to Johnny.
Yeah, I noticed you mentioned like Danny Trejo and all these. How important is it to have like mentors or people just guiding you that have been through that walk? What are the benefits of?
I mean, I think as a mentors, like my mentors, like Danny, Isa, Emilio, I name it, right, in the acting world. It's interesting to have them around, because they've been through so much in life that sometimes when you're caught on a situation or something, you always, can look back at what they already been through, and they always like, just handle it like this, just do this, go, don't worry about this, and it brings ease to me, because sometimes in this world you start tripping with stuff that starts happening. But I think I had those conversations so much with them that it's something that I feel like they are. I feel like I already went through that phase, and
Oh God.
like and now it's just been like, how you doing? How's everything? We see each other. They invite me sometimes to places. I invite them sometimes, and it's just cool, having them around, and they're legends, OGs in the industry, and then having them, really have my back. It's cool,
It seems like Emilio's like everybody's like big brother or like
Oh, Emilio's been amazing.
little father figure.
He's been through a lot, man. Growing up in Frogtown, and how his life changed. Con Air was one of the first things I seen.
And he was a comedian at first too.
Yeah.
Eric loves Con Air, right? Eric. Eric's favorite movie is Con Air.
It's one movie he's watched like 40 times.
Hey, remember what Emilio plays in Con Air? He plays a lefty. He has lefty right here. And that's actually, I wonder if because that's actually the name.
They used to call him,
Yeah, so that's crazy.
back in the day. That's dope, man. Is there a movie that you see sometimes you're like, man, I wish I could have played that role?
I always wanted to play the Joker role.
I've seen everyone.
I've seen you on your Instagram, like you've done the makeup.
Yeah.
And you've done.
Have you?
He's doing the piano and he's doing the laugh and the.
I like mimicking. Some days,
Oh, is this?
There it is.
yeah, some.
Is that you right
yeah,
there?
it's me. Some days I just decide just to put on makeup and just do the role once in a while. I'll be in my house just
You
in
just do it.
character the whole time.
Look at that.
Or I go to the beach or something like that. It's pretty cool. Like,
Why? What draws you to that character?
just I've always been a fan of the Joker, and I think it's the mental health that that they represent about the comic book, what he's been through, and stuff like that, and how he is, and
What's your favorite Joker?
Heath Ledger.
Saturday.
He's
What I like it's interesting how they threw in the mental health part on this last Joker.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. And
But if you go in the comic book, it's about that, So I kind of knew that about it already. So I know when they do the films, they do different genres and stuff like that. But Heath Ledger was one of my. It was amazing, Just amazing how you can just like be serious and then I don't know where to go.
yeah, it's another world.
And they come back to it. It's like
That takes a toll mentally right there too. You know what I'm saying? Like coming in and out of character like that. That's it'll take a toll like mentally and emotionally like to do something like that. Like,
that's actually one of my favorite scenes too.
yeah, that's so dope. Yeah, they walks away and then boom. That's sick. Is there anything that like do you ever dip your foot into like any of the writing, directing, producing? Or?
I just produced my first short film, and it just got done like 4 or 5 months ago. I actually did it while I was in house arrest. I'm like, I'm not gonna stop my life. I'm like, I'm gonna do something. So I produced my short film. It was a feature film that was first we were gonna do, but I'm like, let me test the bubbles with a short because you're only as good as your last story. That's what I said. So I tested it out. I put it right now. It's submitted to a bunch of festivals.
Dope.
So we're waiting. We just literally submitted. What's it called? It's called Motorhome. It's about a family that lives in a motorhome and not lives in the they live in a house and they get evicted and they got 30 minutes to leave and how they're trying to find a way to survive. And at the same time, there's situations the mother's yelling to the husband, "What you're not being a man," and he's going through the struggle and how they find a motorhome. When they find a motorhome, they live, and it's like about the unity, the love, and about like no matter what the situation is, a family is always going to be a family, and no matter where you're put on or where the situation, y'all can still make it happen. Y'all can still smile. Y'all can still be in peace. And that's what it shows. It shows those emotions, and I want to really capture that because there's a lot of people living in motorhomes. And a lot of you see people, some of the percentage of the people are family members, people that have lost their houses, evictions and stuff like that. So I wanted to shine a little bit, because I think back, I don't remember what year, but in the 2000s or something, the market, a lot of people were really losing their houses.
0809, yeah.
People were losing their houses. So I wanted to shine on that, and I made it happen. Parlo Duran, the director, he got involved and it's amazing, doing my first short film, I've been in every festival, Cannes, Berlin, Toronto, from shorts to feature films. And, to have something where I'm coming in as a producer, I'm just excited for all these festivals because, it's been like 4 years that I grew up in a festival where I was in every festival, and now that I've been doing studio films and stuff like that, I haven't really touched independent films and stuff like that. So it's cool to have this in the festival and really like push it in as a producer, as an executive producer, and as an actor in it. So I want to show that young talent can really start building, and making stuff happen. I should have done it a long time ago, but I was just too nervous and scared at the time, One of the youngest Television Academy members as well. I vote for the Emmys and
sick. Congrats.
Being part of that, it's great, representing the community. And it's
Well, what's some of the best advice that you've gotten from some of these guys? Like, because you've worked with some heavy hitters, of course, and just knowing like the people that you've been around, everybody's got something they want to share to the kids that they're working with. And they're like, "Son, don't do this or don't go down," or whatever it might be. Like, you've got to have some kind of nuggets from some of these heavy hitters.
As in like the actors.
Yeah, actors or
because I think people I worked with is like Jennifer Garner, Julie Moore, Kevin Costner.
Like Kevin Costner has to have some like
Kevin Costner's always been
he's
humble, down
got
to
some
earth.
nuggets of knowledge that he can give.
He's always been down. I remember him saying, if you want to work long in the industry, you gotta always be humble, you know. And that guy carries himself very well, you know.
Is that right? Super chill dude.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, like, you know, but that's like when there's so much attention, people coming up to you, like, you know, he stays in his trailer or sometimes comes, but when he comes out, and he's there with the people, he shares, you know. I remember he invited us to a trailer to go watch the movie 3 Days to Kill. He recently did it, and he's like, "You want to watch a movie with me? I have to approve it if I like it or not." I was like,
Like,
I'm down.
yeah.
So the whole McFarland thing, we got in this trailer and we watched the 3 Days to Kill, the movie before it even came out. And he was like, "What do you guys think about it?" We like it. Okay, I'm gonna let him know that it's good to go.
Sick. That's cool, man. Like someone at his caliber, taking, you know, suggestions or opinions from, you know, you guys are probably thinking like, dude, this dude's legendary.
Yeah, why is he asking us?
Yeah. And then him making you feel like, oh man, my opinion matters.
And then he came to
dope.
Bakersfield too. They had a premiere there on Bakersfield where all the runners were involved. And I remember like no one had really thought to even ask him to go. So I guess he ended up finding out, and he one time said, "Hey, you guys want to have a premiere in Bakersfield? Why no one told me?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "I don't think you're gonna go." Yeah, I'm gonna go. And then showed up.
Why wouldn't he be invited though? I mean,
I guess people were just
he's the star.
nervous to like him too busy to this, that, and no, he ended up somehow finding out, and he came and was like, "Man, y'all going to do this without me?" You know,
That's
but
legit,
he showed his support. He came all the way from, you know, he lives in Santa Barbara, so he came all the way from over there to come to Bakersfield to come
That's dope.
shine light on Bakersfield, because you know Bakersfield is
because that's kind of the area.
you know?
Yeah. That's. Did you guys shoot in that area as
We
well?
shot in Bakersfield. We shot in McFarland. We shot here in Camarillo, LA, Griffin Observatory. It was pretty cool.
There it is right there.
Right on.
Yeah. Found
Man, Costly's found all that. There you went right there, huh?
that. We even built a playground. Disney. We went over there.
It is right there.
In McFarland. We all the actors, everybody. We built a playground for them for like in 6-7 hours.
What?
There was like 60 people just. We're just building. We had somebody that knew how to build everything brand new. It was a playground for McFarland because the population was like 3,000 people, you know. So we all just came and we built it. It was pretty cool, you know.
Who paid for that? Was that like
Disney.
Yeah.
Disney
That is
made up
dope.
playground for them.
How many films you got under your belt already?
I think
Wrestling.
I can say like 21, 27, I think.
Nice.
And then the other ones are more like television show. I don't know if those counts, like, you know,
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
when you come in and like the Jimmy Fallon and all these other
Oh, yeah.
talk shows and stuff like that. I have like probably like 10, 17. The Platanito show too. That's pretty cool.
Cool, bro.
They're good.
Well,
I think I've been interviewed by every article that exists, like, you know, Variety, Deadline, TV Guide,
Oh, bro.
in the
you're
magazines.
killing it, man.
the connected show.
The Connected Show, you know.
What would you say is a big misconception being in Hollywood or being an actor? What do people usually think that it's just not even true?
I don't believe everything the media says. I think, but that's always going to happen, you know, within this world. I think it is what it is that as a person, you know, saying truth to yourself and not really caring about people's opinions, you know, just doing the right thing. There's always going to be people that are negative. There's always going to be comments that are negative. But I think as long as you're being positive and doing great, you know, great stuff happens, and you walk with God, great stuff happens. And I think, yeah, just negative comments are just fly.
Is it mostly people think that also like you have more money than you really do?
No, you know what it is I think what it is for me, like, you know, I never been like, oh, I have more money than you, or I have this more. I have what I have, you know. And for me, it's kind of like, it's not about like that, you know. It's about my peace, you know, and them sometimes attacking or thinking certain ways or having comments. It's a normal thing that people do on social media, you know.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just I don't pay attention to it. I don't pay attention. I think if it's good advice, if it's great things, positive things, of course I'm going to take that advice. I feel like sometimes I hear it multiple times, but it's great. It's positive. And from my friends, from the people I meet, but going back to what I think about those people that think negative, hopefully God gets in their heart and finds them, and they find Jesus.
I love that.
Amen.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years? What are the game plan?
Oh my God, I see myself everywhere. I see myself.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Like producing, or are you acting?
I want to start producing more.
Okay.
I want to then get into directing. Paul Weitz, the guy that created American Pie and did Mozart in the Jungle. He's a great friend of mine. He did, they did Pinocchio and all these huge movies, Grandma's Boy.
Grandma's Boy.
All these films, and he's really been there in my life. He actually wrote to me when I was in prison.
Is that right?
And he told me, you gotta, like, coming from a guy that got Oscar nominated, on and done a bunch of films. He literally wrote to me. It's like, you got talent, you got something, you got a gift. And I remember doing a film with him called Bel Canto in New York with Julian Moore. They hired me on that, and he's always been there. So I've been now, because talking about what I see in myself in 10 years is he's teaching me how to do shot lists and stuff, like about the direction and stuff like that. So
mentoring you in that.
I'm really learning, like, from
awesome,
from an OG, a person that's really in Hollywood right now. He's
You're a student again.
Yeah, man, and I think that is great, because I see myself in the future really, really putting that work, because I think being a producer and director really, really takes more time and effort and more scheduling than being an actor. An actor, you just, to tell you what time to show up and just go. Producing, you got to make sure you get the cars at time. If they need cars, you got to make sure the actors are on time. You got to make sure you calculate location distance, all this stuff, So
there's a lot to it.
It's a lot to it. But I think I'm getting ready for it. I think I'm not ready. I am ready for it, and I'm done with the whole lifestyle of really partying. And
Good.
Praise God, bro.
And just focusing on my health, on my peace, on God, and my loved ones.
Amen.
Seek first the kingdom of God, bro. That's what you got.
I had a chance to interview Lilo Brancato from Bronx Tale, and hearing his story, there's some similarities to your story, except he did, I want to say he did 8 years or something, or close to. But, again, he was with someone else. Someone else shot this cop, and he just happened to be there. There was drugs involved, the whole thing. So he went to prison. He's now, walking with the Lord. He changed his life around. There's like similarities to your story. How important are second chances to you, and where you were at and where you're at now?
I think God is, and it strongly forgives. If they forgive, there's second chances, there's third chances. But I think it's really, really at one point taking it serious. I'm not messing up no more. If God is giving you chances, don't keep messing up. It's time to change. It's time to grow. It's time to. I feel like I've been through a lot of fun life, and all that has to do with that lifestyle. And I think you realize at one point that's pointless. It's not beneficial to me. It's none of that. So really, like, putting emphasis on going to the gym, hiking, doing positive things, grounding myself to earth, going to the beach, and doing more stuff alone. You realize that,
Right.
For a long time, I felt like I felt alone in this world. But when God was with me, I felt like I don't feel alone. I feel good. I can be in my house by myself. I can go eat by myself. And I'm happy. It's amazing. I'm happy, And it's interesting because it's like, I'm talking about this, but it just happened 4, 5, 6 days ago, and it was like, wow, like,
Praise God.
And I wanted to keep it this way, I want to,
Keep the fire going.
The joy of the Lord, bro. That peace beyond understanding is crazy.
And just to get, I guess, a little deeper, and you don't gotta go into it if you don't want. But in either way, even in like Lilo Brancato's story, there was a life that was lost. And I had asked him the same thing too. If you could say anything to the family of the life that was lost of that victim, what would you say?
You know, it's hard. First of all, I want to apologize, you know, in life, like not only to them, but to everything I've done in my past, you know, and know that I'm not perfect, you know. I'm a human being, and I'm sorry, you know, and I'm speechless right now at the moment because like there's nothing really I can say to bring the child back to life. But I want to say I'm in peace. I have God. You know, I repent myself. And you know, just taking it a day at a time with the same feelings they're going through, you know, because it's not easy, you know. I mean, I can't really say much, but say really, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry for what happened in life. And I didn't mean it to be that way, you know, just wrong time, wrong place.
But
And yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, coming to a place of repentance is a big deal, and knowing that you don't want to go back there. And in a sense, I think even like in talking to Lilo, it was more like he felt like he owed like a sense of responsibility to the victim's family for, you know, now that he's getting a second chance and he's getting back into acting and you know, he's going around talking to kids about second chances and staying away from drugs, doing the whole thing. You know, he feels like, dude, I can't mess up. Not just for himself, but he's like, I can't mess up because there was a life that was lost and I owe it to them. You know, so I think it's a beautiful thing, man. And it truly does start with repentance, you know, and being remorseful and you know, sometimes, you know, people they don't believe that until they see the action, you know, because for some people it could just simply be like, you know what, it's just all wordplay. He's an actor, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But when your actions follow through with that and you give back and then you know, you appreciate those second chances and you give your talents that God gave you back, you know, I think there's a lot to say through those actions, you know. So I commend you on that.
Yeah, respect on that, bro. It's not easy,
yeah.
you know.
Thank you for wearing your heart on your sleeve, bro.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. It really
and
is.
impacting the next generation the way you're doing, you know.
and you guys too, man. You guys are doing it, you know, making stuff happen. I mean, Ruben with Chicano Hollywood, you know, like that's really making great moves and making stuff happen and seeing the space. And I want to know more about you, you know, like.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
You
Yeah,
too,
man. You know,
like,
just trying to create a platform and then share that platform for the people to share their stories. You know, it's less about, you know, us and more about like we want it to be like about you, you know, and you share your story because, you know, I mean, you can go on all kinds of other shows and then there's so many other kind of turns that it goes into, but you know, what we're doing here, want it to be about the guests and giving them a shot to just lay it all out.
And today it seems like you got a good head on your shoulders. If it was 4 or 5 days ago, I couldn't tell, bro, because you got some wise words and giving up to the Lord and allowing him to guide your path. And I believe he's going to continue to open doors for you.
Amen to
you know, and praise God for your mom, bro.
Yeah,
I love prayer warrior for you. You know, those prayers were answered, and here you are now.
Oh yeah, I remember before my mom passed away. You know, she was you know, I was teary eyed, and she's like, "Don't cry, don't cry. I'm going to heaven. You're gonna have joy, and I'm gonna be praising Him, and you're gonna be there with me one day."
Amen. That's the coolest part, right? Rolling up and like
And making your mom proud, bro. That's an important thing.
yeah, losing a parent ain't easy.
Yeah, I lost my mom too, man, in '96.
It's the year I was born.
Oh, making me feel old, bro.
Yeah.
Making me feel old.
Nah, you're young, bro. You got a long way to go, and I pray you continue with this love for the Lord. And I think that He's gonna open doors and allow you to bless more and many, and just the way you go about it, you're gonna be a mentor now for others. You know, just the way you had some positive mentors. So I'm excited to see what you do and how you don't forget about where you came from. You know, and like you said, putting that human aspect in everything you do. I mean, that's what we are, right? So I love that heart.
And also just keep the focus on the Lord, and the way God works is not the way our mind can't even comprehend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just stay focused on Him and what He wants you to do, because dude, God works so crazy where you're just like, man, this relationship got mended, or there's relationships that were restored, and God just puts you in places sometimes just to show you how good He is. You know what I'm saying? Man, I don't deserve this.
And if you think about it, a lot of the successful people that I know in life always are putting God first. So like it's you start realizing like it's really God's work.
Well, you're in a position where you could prove how good God is to the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying? And you're given a different platform, but the platform you have, plus knowing the Lord, is so much different. See what I'm saying? Because there's people in the industry that are so empty, and then you having the joy of the Lord, but taking that to another level to where you're like, dude, I'm happy no matter where I'm at. If I'm in jail, I'm going to be happy because God's with me. If I'm, on a stage, if I'm riding in my house on house arrest, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And I think that speaks volumes. But I think also not keeping that to yourself weighs even more. You know what I'm saying? So, sharing that love and sharing the gospel, and sharing what God did for you, that second chance, I think it's going to bring hope to so many more.
I remember buying a Rottweiler during that phase of a time because I was in house arrest. I'm like, I don't want to be here by myself, So I bought myself a dog, and it was a Rottweiler. And I remember I was like, I looked at the dog. I'm like, through all this stuff that I'm gonna go through, you're the one who's gonna give me hope, and I'm gonna name you Hope.
Oh,
is that what you named him?
Hope. And throughout the whole time, I was just like, it was my little emotional thing, And I look at it and I'm like, damn, God, you really put this dog in my life. I really love my dog,
Hope. You still got him?
Yeah, his name is Hope. Her name is Hope. And then I just recently adopted a cat. His name is Gucci. Pretty cool.
Like
The most lovable cat I've ever seen, man. Likes to wake me up at 2 or 3 in the morning, just headbutt me.
I love cats, dude. I'm a cat guy. I play cats.
Hilarious. What are you got like 2-3 people that you recommend that we interview, you connect us with, share their story?
I mean, there's a lot of people, If they're in San Diego and stuff like that, there's a lot of people. I mean, tons of people. I mean, and not only like actors, I think people that are just doing it great in life and in that gift that God gave them,
Yeah, we're planning on taking this to LA too. So if you got some people up there,
they're mostly everybody's in LA. But if you ever see someone I know that follows me in San Diego, let me know.
Yeah,
because
anytime you want to come out here to promote anything too, just
thank you.
Reach out and let's make it happen.
Because man, I'll be seeing my Instagram people that see it, and a lot of people, influential people, a lot of people be watching my stuff, so it makes me happy.
No, I catch you too when you're going live too, and you're doing the thing.
I just like it because like
the interaction.
You see the you just see all the actors that are doing it in the industry and just straight up supporting you, watching your stuff, and it was just like, damn,
that's a beautiful thing.
How important is social media to you right now?
Social media never been important to me in life. I think it's just part of the work. It's part of doing it. But lately, it's been something that I've been like wanting to show more vulnerability and more stuff instead of a lifestyle that it doesn't promote. Like really, like I don't think I have to floss stuff. I don't have to do anything like that. I think it's just really like being yourself at the moment. If I feel sad today, I'm gonna go and show her that I'm feel sad, if I feel this. But at the end of the day, no matter what the situation is, it's like God always finds a way to keep me in peace, even if it's like for an hour that I'm feeling down, 2 hours. Like it took me out that phase of really feeling that I was gonna be like that my whole life.
Mm.
In all the roles that you've played, what would you do different in any of the roles? Like if you look at them and you're just like,
I don't think I'll do anything different, to be honest. I think I've done great in the films. Yeah, because I mean it's storytelling, and most of the films that I've done, I've been proud of my work, and I don't think there's something I regret from films. And I think at the moment, I didn't look at it as a director. Now that I'm thinking of a director, I'm like thinking, wait, was this shot good? Was this shot? But no, I don't really think there's anything that I regret. Everything's been great.
do you watch film? I know my wife hates it sometimes, but you're watching a movie and you're like, dude, that was such a sick shot. Dude, did you see how they did this and how that? Like,
I'm really a fan of one takers.
Yeah.
Like when it follows you,
dope.
and then it just like goes to like you can go through a different room and going through another dramatic scene there, and it's like keeps following you.
Like I just recently watched Extraction, and they had several of those super dope the one shots. But have you seen the movie 1917? I believe it.
Is that
when they're in the
car scene?
The war. No, it was like a war movie.
Yeah, when they're in the bunker the whole time.
Dude, and the whole movie was a one take. Dude, you got to see it. It's so
What's it called?
dope. It's called 1917.
The whole movie's a one take?
The whole movie is
Like,
a one
They're in
take.
the trenches, right?
The whole thing, yeah, in the trenches and the like explosions going off, him running into like buildings.
So there's no cuts?
No, it's based on World War. When I watch movies, I watch like that. Sometimes my wife's like, "Oh, I can't watch anything with you. You're always looking at that stuff."
I think there's another film, I don't know what it is, but they did a car scene, and within the whole car scene there's like stuff happening, like a lot of drama, fighting, and the whole camera's going into them through each character and then coming out.
I think it was
think
like Extraction. Was
I
like
think they had to like take out the top of the car and like put the camera there and make it seem like
that stuff.
it's pretty interesting.
What are your top 3 favorite movies all time?
Blood In, Blood Out.
Okay.
What?
Just the culture wise, what it talked about. The other time, really raw,
You ever look at that movie and you're like, I could have played a role in that.
Ali Crucito, like
Yeah, dope. Yeah.
Jesse Borrego, is a great actor.
I think they just did like
He was an American Crime too, as well.
was he?
Oh,
Yeah, he played my uncle.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah,
It's small world.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just did like a 30-year reunion or something like that. That's something like that.
he lives in Texas, in Houston. He has an art gallery. He's doing great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
No.
Also, he really does art.
Yeah, they just put I think they put Blood In, Blood Out just on Hulu right now recently.
Shit.
So it's people can watch it on Hulu now. But that's one of my movies. Let's see, La Bamba.
Dope. Yeah.
So we're talking a white movie, Titanic.
All right. He said-
You have to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Real quick. Just keep it PC.
Yeah. What kind of food do you grow up on? What's your favorite food, bro?
I like Mexican food. I fall in love with sushi now. I love eating a lot of sushi. So,
What's a good Mexican spot in LA where you stay?
well, I live in Santa Clarita, so over there's nothing but white people. So, I go usually down to LA. I grew up in Highland Park, so I like going to El Tacador. There's a place called El Tacador, authentic tacos.
What you get there? What kind of tacos?
I just get asada with cheese. That's been my motto since growing up. I never get salsa.
No?
Nothing. I just get the tacos and I tell them put Monterey cheese on it and melt it. So my sister already knows.
It's like a quesadilla with meat.
Yeah, my sister already knows. Like
Like a mulita or like
no, just
taco?
just a taco and it's all just warm.
Quesadilla taco. Yeah. You know what's crazy in LA? Because I when I lived up there, we'd go to the taco shops and it's like, dude, they don't got guacamole.
We were talking about that last time.
Yeah, it's
No, I mean if you think about I love Acapulco, but it's kind of a little bit like transformed into Americanized.
yeah. It's super Americanized.
But yeah, I like that. I mean, I still go to Taco Bell. I still go to I go to Jack in the Box. Sometimes I'm in 71 above in downtown LA. Sometimes I go to Katsuya. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm always gonna want
Mix
my
it up.
cheeseburger, my with pickles and all that stuff.
Hey, how did COVID, like, how did that disrupt everything for you?
Well, I was actually in 2020 when COVID hit, so I was in jail by that time. So it was inside. There was a different program. No one can go out. No, it was COVID was different.
The entertainment issue just hit like left and right with not just COVID, but then the writer's strike not too long ago. So it's like nobody was working.
I think it was like 3 years being out the game for a minute. The two, like a year and a half that I did, and then the other year that it took for the strike. So it was 2 years and a half, and then as soon as the strike was done, bam, back to work.
So dope.
Amen to God.
I'll do that.
Man, dude, well, I appreciate your time, man, and thank you for coming and doing this. Is there anything you want to plug up?
Where can people follow you?
People can see me at Mr. Johnny Ortiz on Instagram, Facebook, you name it, Snapchat, everything. I don't do TikTok, and I don't do what else. There's some social.
I don't do TikTok either.
I don't do MySpace. MySpace is back in the day. I just do Facebook and Instagram. I don't do TikTok a lot.
Yeah.
There's another platform. No, I'm already forgetting because
they got new threads. Now there's
what's Twitter called? Twitter's called
Twitter too.
X.
Yeah, I had Twitter. I had Twitter, but when they changed the font, all this, he bought it. I didn't really want to mess with Twitter.
Yeah, I never really messed with it. It is what it is.
I don't know. It's just always weird for me. Just you text a little, people just text 2, 3, 4 words. And it's like tweet. I'm like, I rather see pictures and like people going
tell the story. Man, well, I appreciate you coming out, man, because I know you were filming all day, and being out in the hot sun. I'm sure that takes a whole lot out of you.
I mean, yeah, and that Red Bull really helped, and
the coffee.
Coffee. Shout out to the sponsors, no?
Hey,
but
Westside Love.
But coming out on top of that, it's like midnight, and we're out here doing this thing after you had a long day of work, man. So
we appreciate.
It means a lot to me. It means a lot to us. Yeah. So appreciate that, man. And want to say thanks to Carlos for picking you up.
Yeah, good looking out, Carlos.
Taking you back out there.
Yeah, enjoy your time in San Diego, and thanks for speaking from the heart, bro, and like really sharing your love for the Lord, and looking forward to connecting with you, see how we can help these youth that are locked up.
Yeah, man. Like whenever, like if I'm not working, I always say if I'm not working, I'm doing God's work.
Praise God.
With helping the community, with talking to kids.
It sounds good.
Feeding the homeless. I'm part of the mission. In the happy mission that they feed homeless every year.
Yeah, I've seen you doing that
over there. I think I spend most of my Christmas, Easter, and most of the holidays doing that. So people when they see me, on my holidays, I'm never really celebrating the holidays. I'm really out there putting that work. Praise God.
I've seen you doing.
We recently got some toys too, and we went out into neighborhoods. We're giving people toys. We actually just recently gave toys to some juvenile facilities and gave them more entertainment, like board games, stuff they can have. Because I've never been inside there, and I wanted to be board games and all this keeps us distracted from all the negativity or nonsense that's running around.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, man, appreciate your time, man. Anything you need from us, just reach out, let us know. Look forward to doing some community work with you, not just in LA, but here in San Diego, man. Love to have you down. But man, can't say it enough. Thank you, man. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you. Memo, anything you want to close out?
Nah, it was a great interview. Dope. Hearing your heart, you just threw it all out there. I appreciate you. I will be praying for your future, man.
Thanks.
Thank you.
What is blessed? I see the hat.
I got you on a hat after this, bro. I got you.
That's his gig right there.
That's nice.
It's called the Good Burp.
Oh boy.
And so they blew up with this the blessed, and they got like the Padres and everything.
We're all blessed, We're all blessed.
I see the
SD.
Yeah. I got you.
You can do an LA one for you too.
Yes.
Well, cool, man. This episode is brought to you by Love Thy Neighbor. Make sure you guys go check out lovethyneighbormovement.com and check out all the cool stuff that we're doing there. We're going to be doing some stuff with Johnny, so make sure you guys reach out. Thank you guys. If you guys want to donate, hit the donate button. If you guys just want to tag along and go with us to some of the events, make sure you reach out. Let's do this. Thank you guys. Another episode. Connected. We out.
I'm connected.